Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 409. I'm Phil Graham. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about AI in Facebook ads, what you should automate and what you should absolutely not automate. So AI is awesome. It can supercharge your ads, but only if you know how to use it properly. It definitely still needs your skill and really a human touch. So many advertisers overly rely on AI and they don't use it in the proper way, and that can really be costly. Skill matters, my friends. But when you combine your skill and AI and you use it properly, amazing things can sometimes happen. So I hope you guys listened to my episode last week, which was about overcoming costly mistakes people make with AI and ads, because that is very important. This is a follow-up to that with some details about automation, what AI is good for, and what it's not so good with when it comes to your ads. So it goes hand in hand with last week. Now, I'm going to try and keep this episode short and full of value before we jump into the content. If you guys are looking for any help with your ads, whether that's one-on-one coaching and consulting, I think that's the best way in the world to learn this stuff. It's specific to you and can be so amazing. So whether you're looking for some help with that or you want somebody to run your ads for you, for either one of those things, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and let's connect. So let's jump right in. This episode is actually going to be pretty short because it's very focused and specific. We don't have a ton to cover. So AI can make your ads more efficient, but here's the thing, it's not perfect and there's a lot of potential drawbacks that you need to be aware of. So here's the overriding philosophy I think that makes the biggest difference in regards to using AI properly, because so many people use it wrong. I believe that you should think of AI and use AI like a powerful assistant, but not the decision maker. So many advertisers and business owners use AI like it's the decision maker. And that is a big mistake, in my opinion. AI is awesome. It can make your ads more efficient, but it's definitely not perfect. It's got a lot of drawbacks. So you've really got to use your skill along with it. So let's talk about some things that it's good at and some things that it's not so good at when it comes to your ads. In terms of what it's good at, bid strategies. Meta can optimize for the lowest cost per result through their bid strategy using their AI, and many times they're pretty darn good using AI for that. Now, that doesn't mean that it's always good, because there's plenty of times when we do other things that can work better. But overall, that's one of the stronger uses of AI. Another one is creative testing, using Advantage Plus creative variations to help improve and test different headlines and images and different things like that. Now, if you listened last week, you know that there can be a lot of issues with that as well. A lot of times it will spit out things that you don't like, that are not on brand, or are even sometimes not even true. So you got to be very careful with what it says. Also, what I would do, I would be very careful with this in general, because typically what you come up with creatively is going to probably be a lot better. So I might use this testing with things that you've already proven and created yourself and see if it can do any variations better. Although many times I'll still do my own variation. But in general, it does a decent job of testing. It's not a replacement for testing things yourself, creating your own copy, but it is a good addition to it. Another good use of AI and automation is audience expansion with your ads. So AI can help you find other audiences that may be really good for your brand, whether it's through lookalike audiences or even just expanding their reach with Advantage Plus and things like that. Now, we do a series of audiences, both broad and segmented. We don't just count on this audience expansion, because a lot of times our segmented audiences perform better in many situations. But there's a lot of value in Advantage Plus audiences too. Obviously, I mean, a lot of times they perform better. So you want to try both. But that's something that AI does a pretty darn good job with. And the other one I would mention is Advantage Plus placements. I think generally the AI does a pretty good job of managing the placements where on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, it's going to put your ads to try and optimize for better results. We do have situations where we force certain placements and run ads just for Instagram or just Facebook or just stories and reels, for example. So we definitely do that. But in general, I do like Advantage Plus placements and letting the AI manage that in a lot of situations. So those are some things I think AI does a good job with as it relates to ads. Now, let's talk about some things that I believe it struggles with. Number one, messaging and positioning. Yes, AI can write ad copy, but so many times it's nowhere near as good as someone who, number one, is skilled, and number two, knows a lot about their business, their ideal customers, their competition, their differentiation, and everything else. And a lot of times you can tell when something has been written by AI. Not always, but I'll see something a lot of times and I know it was AI. That's an issue. It can also lack, your brand voice and even, like I said, emotional depth. You can tell it was written by an AI. That's an issue. So it can struggle with that. You need to be good at your own messaging and positioning and ad copy. Use AI for ideas and concepts or to clean things up once you create something, but don't just use it to do all that for you, or else you're probably going to be struggling. The second thing AI struggles with is creative strategy. It can test variations of things, but you really need to define what's going on, what the strategy is behind the testing, how long it's going to test for. What are you going to test? How many variables? There's so many decisions to be made. It's like you're the coach of a team. Every ad, every campaign is a player. The AI is also almost like a player. You need to be the coach directing all these things. And you can't just be a brainless coach that asks ChatGPT how to do it. You've got to be skilled at this yourself so that you can effectively do this using a tool like AI. And so many people don't do that. So don't make that mistake. Make sure that you are in charge. You're using it to supplement you, but you're not using it as the decision maker. So the third thing that AI struggles with is what I would call a funnel strategy, or also like just looking at your offers in general. AI does not understand your customer psychology the way you do, especially your individual customers. Even if you try and train it, it can get better if you train it in the proper way, like I try and teach people to do when I consult with them, but it's still not a replacement for your skill and knowledge in that area. And so making sure that you are good at this stuff and that you use your knowledge and that skill to your advantage, because that will give you an edge versus competitors who don't. And you definitely want every edge you can get. And then the last thing that AI can struggle with is in terms of audience research. I actually like using it for audience research. However, a lot of times it can be a little too broad in its suggestions. And when you want to get really granular, really fine tuned, that's where you want to drill down, an inch wide, but a mile deep. You want to get very specific. And AI doesn't always do that well in that scenario. Now, if you know how to do the right prompts, which most people are not very good with that, but if you are, you can kind of work around that. In the right person's hands, I could put that into the plus category. But for how most people use it, it's going to be a minus. It's going to be something that might, have you struggle. So in terms of audience research, make sure you're using not only what you know, but information that you get from your customers, from your clients, from your leads. And you want to take all that into account. So to really summarize, AI is insanely powerful. I love it. I use it for a lot of stuff, but it absolutely works best when you combine it with your strategies and your skill. That can make such a big difference. It could give you an edge over your competitors. So what I recommend is you guys take a look at what you're doing, all your campaigns, and even non-paid ads, like everything you're doing in your business, whether you're automating them or not. But are they as optimized as they could be? Could you, leverage some of your skill on top of what's already there to make a difference, not just ask AI to do it? And you could work with the AI to create great things, but don't forget to use your skill. And as always, just a reminder, it's always important to point out that every business is unique. Results can vary. There's no guaranteed outcomes. So always keep that in mind. So my friends, I hope this was helpful. This stuff is super important when it comes to ads. Make sure that you guys test this kind of stuff and really put it into action. Episode 409 is in the books. If you guys want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. I'll talk to you on next week's episode. Have a great week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.